aboard. Welcome to this morning's Trade Along live session. We've got traders coming in from all over the globe. Welcome aboard. This is a concentrated session based on looking to scalp the S&P 500 E-mini and do it better. We have traders that are coming in that have their own technique based on their trade, and they're looking for a focused opportunity, discipline, an opportunity to be part of Saul's trading morning. Saul gives out his proprietary levels he has a series of levels that he considers a trading advantage for himself during the morning session. And he gives them out to everybody in audio or via audio. He gives them out as part of his teaching and mentoring. Saul is an active, I think I'm losing my voice this morning, or my ability to speak. That's terrible. Saul is an active trader. He's a veteran of the trading pits in Chicago. He has developed a trading strategy for himself. It is a price action trading strategy. He has developed a way to set key levels and zones for the morning session that he believes gives him an advantage in his own trading. And he'll be giving them out to you this morning from a education perspective only. You have the opportunity in the service to go through the morning session with Saul as your wingman to help you focus and give you better discipline or more discipline during the morning session, and focusing on doing 2, 3, 4, 5 trades in and around his levels and zones, and his trade action, price action commentary during the morning session. The morning session here lasts from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with the action happening between 9:30 and 11:30 on a daily basis. This is a subscription service. We ask you to review our website, which is tradealongtradingacademy.com, tradealongtradingacademy.com. On the website, you'll read or be able to view what this is all about, what the opportunity is, what the opportunity for you is based on an attendee and a subscriber to the service. And then it gives you the ability to take action and subscribe. We ask those that are coming in as a guest to quickly move over to a subscription status and become part of the family. So we had a question, which is from an education point of view, can you apply Saul's trading strategy, his price action trading strategy, to other markets? Which is a very good question. So we have broken up the service into 2 segments. The first segment is this Trade Along Live segment, where we have traders that come in, subscribe to the service, be part of Saul's trading world for the morning session from an educational point of view only. Saul gives out his proprietary scalping levels and zones, and then traders interact with him as he provides them trade action, price action commentary in and around those levels and zones as the opportunity points, and the interaction between those that are part of the service and he really help those traders that are looking to do better based on this morning's trade, not only from a discipline point of view, but a able to bank money point of view, or bank money better point of view. So that's what we do on a daily basis on this side of the Trading Academy, if you will. We call it the Trade Along Live Trading Academy, or the TradeAlongTradingAcademy.com. Trading Academy is where Saul takes you into private session in a private Zoom room and teaches you his methodology. And now that methodology can be applied to other markets. The concept and the discipline of price action trading is a age-old, I call it the last bastion of hope for traders, but it's also the first bastion of hope for new traders, where you can really focus on the entries, exits, and stops in and around a fixed level or point. In this case, we have fixed levels and zones. And the reason we have fixed levels and zones is the reality of the market is the reality of the market. After the morning bell goes off in a couple of minutes here. So Sol sets his levels right around the cash open, which is coming up. He sets a price pivot in the S&P 500 E-mini, and he sets other levels on top and bottom of that pivot. These become his levels and zones for this morning session as a advantage to him based on today's, this is what he has set up for himself in his own trading, an advantage to him based on what's going to happen this morning. After the opening bell, Sol does a critical assessment for his own trading, a risk assessment, and he pays attention to what's happening based on the action of price and how his levels and zones are working. Thus, he can change and adapt to the scene, the trading scene, this morning's trading scene, this morning's opportunity. And that is a really disciplined approach. It's fluid when it comes to the action of price, and it is taught by Sol for those that want to learn in the Trading Academy. So just sign up for his trading course. You'll see it on the website and be part of it. One of the nice things is it's linked or bundled. You can be part of his mentoring and his coursework, learn in a private Zoom room the technique, and then come in here as a proving ground and an access point to Sol during the live market as you're putting it all together in this Trade Along live session, which is included in the bundle. So check out the website. Sol's going to be stepping in. I'll be stepping into the background. If you need anything, let me know. Take a moment to check out the website. Move from guest to subscriber. We do this every day. I want to welcome the new people that are popping in. This is our Trade Along live session that's part of the Trade Along Trading Academy. I just put in a link to the website in the chat area. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? Don? Hey, Anand, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me all right? So I'll give you our levels for this morning. Our pivot this morning is 46.20, support at 10, 46 even, 91, 80, and 71. Resistance on the upside at 28, 34, 43, 54, and 61. Pivot 20, support at 10, even, 46 even, 45.91, 80, and 71. Resistance on the upside at 28, 34, 43, 54, and 61. All right, market here seems to have quieted down a little bit after yesterday's ride all over the place. So we'll see what today brings as yesterday's statement. Remember, we said before we at the end of our morning shift about the fact that it's a Fed day, and anytime that he might say something during his Q&A might create some volatility in the market, and suggested that if you made a little bit of money that morning before he started, that maybe, and then all of a sudden all hell broke loose with his comments about transitory and not transitory. So basically, he has created the word transitory to describe the inflation situation. And when he started talking about all of this, let's see, I might have this wrong. Okay, so the screens are working now. Can you see the screens now? As we dip down here to the 10 area, got down there to 10 and a half. Maybe you got in, I don't know. Okay, now we can see it. So he created the word transitory in describing inflation fears that the market was worried about, and he calmed the market down. And he's been sticking to that scenario or word to describe inflation until we tend to use the word transitory to mean that it won't leave a permanent mark in the form of higher inflation. I think it's probably a good time to retire that word. That's what he said yesterday. After he created the word, we tend to use the word that he created. And yesterday he decided that, you know what, we're not going to use it anymore. And basically the market freaked out that man who created transitory is not transitory anymore. And consequently, all hell broke loose and the market started to, falling apart on that news. And you could see it's very tough to trade when the market has a one-way bias, and not only a one-way bias, but a volume attached to one-way bias. So there's no ebbs and flows in those situations. We don't know that's happening until obviously after the fact. That statement that I read came out a little bit later. So these things do happen. Unfortunately, they happen now, when you're trading, and you have to be very, very careful in regards to, trading when you know that there is a person out there chit-chatting away about that could affect the markets. So we tried to warn you about that yesterday as the market here dips down to the 10 area. A nice rotation up here. If you got in a little bit better, then you did all right here. Again, we're looking right now, the way the market's kind of settled down here overnight and starting this rally, probably about 3 to 4 point stops, I would say. I don't think we need to be at 5, unless, of course, something happens and boom, boom, anything could happen. VIX is trading at 24. 12, so it's right at 24. If the market continues to upside here a little bit, probably get into the 23s or even 22s. But the volatility yesterday with that big break kept it in the 24, 25 probably during the break, and then as the market rallied and then the volatility got sucked out of it a little bit, probably the VIX started dropping. So that's where we're at, and we'll see what happens today. Again, we're scalping the market. For those of you who are just joining us, we're trying to take 2 or 3 points out of these trades. Probably today, about 3 or 4 points out of these trades, based on the volatility on any given day. And if you all look at or whoever's coming a little bit late, if you look at the chat box area, you will find the levels that we have imprinted there for you. And those are there to help you, guide you to try to find opportunities to trade. And we can add to them, subtract from them, tweak them a little bit, tell you not to use them because of the market conditions. And all of those are part of the process of trading, and also the process of our education course, where we teach you when to do all those things to those levels, how to find them, how to create them, and then how to tweak them if need be. And so that's what we do here on an everyday basis. We used to be on the Florida Exchange, but due to the fact of COVID and subsequent the discovery by the exchange that they don't really need to have the floor anymore, they decided to close the floor down. So that is where we are at. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat box area. All right, market is kind of slowly bouncing around here a little bit towards the lows there. See what it wants to do. Again, we had a nice little quick rotation there off of our 10 area. And now we're just kind of hanging around the 10 area and see what it wants to do. Again, so next level, if you look at our chat, there is down at the 46 even. That's our next level of support. And yesterday was a classic example of why we make sure we always keep our stops in place because we don't know when these situations arise that you're going to have. Well, we kind of knew yesterday that he was going to be talking and created the volatility that created that push to the downside yesterday or late morning. So, but it is what it is, and you have to know when to trade. That's also a key component of trading, is not only trading, but when to trade and when not to trade, right? That's what we were kind of hinting at yesterday, if you were with us prior to that break. And again, the break was due to the fact that Powell was chit-chatting away. Let's see what's coming out today as far as the numbers are released. Remember, it is a busy week. We have PMI manufacturing at 8:45, an index, and then the ISM manufacturing index at 9 o'clock, in addition to construction spending. And then, of course, Powell continues testifying before Congress, this time in front of the Committee on Financial Services on the House side. Yesterday, he spoke to the Senate side. So at 9 o'clock today, he'll be also probably his opening remarks are going to be the same as yesterday. So that's not going to be a point of contention. But the Q&A could always be surprises, because you never know when he's going to say what he's going to say or what not he's going to say, right? So that is always something to be concerned about. So we're basically in the kind of the same situation where we're going to try to make a little bit of money this morning and let him have his way the rest of the day, because it's just, it is what it is. So that's where we're at with him again testifying today. But we'll see what happens. And then we have the Beige Book coming out at 1 o'clock Chicago time. And that is a culmination of the different Fed banks, what they think the economy is going to do. So that's coming out at 1. Powell's going to be talking at 9. There's construction spending and ISM manufacturing index at 9. And then at 8:45, in about 5 minutes here, we've got PMI manufacturing index. So we don't like to trade when there is Fed stuff in the background. So that's, yesterday was a classic example. And also, we don't like to trade when we know there are numbers coming out. At least we like to be flat and then trade any after effect. All right, so that's where we're at for as far as fundamentals are concerned. After spending months arguing that the surge in the pandemic pandemic inflation was largely due to transitory forces, Fed Chair Jeremy Powell told Congress on Thursday it is probably a good time to retire that word. Many have taken issue with the verbiage in recent months, given that Powell has knowledge that inflation is proving more powerful and persistent than expected. As a result of the price pressures, the Fed is now considering a faster tapering to its asset purchase program, shifting gears to tighter monetary policy. Can tapering be good for the markets while stocks sank after the comments, with traders boosting bets on upcoming interest rate hikes? And if you remember, I did mention that not only were S&Ps breaking, but so were bonds at the time. Bonds have recovered pretty good. So that's basically does coincide with what he said, right? Or kind of makes sense. Futures are already pointing renewed gains this morning. Volatility may still be the name of the game, but in history is any guide, the Fed's taper tantrum of 2013 was followed by strong gains for equities as traders bet the economy was healthy enough to stand on its own. So there's nothing that really hurts this market, right? Following Ben Bernanke's comments in May of 2013, stocks fell 5.8% in the next months, but the rest of the year, the market was up 17%. And there you have it. Everything's good. Nothing could be bad. And all bad news is good, and all good news is good, and there's just temporary setback. That was yesterday. That's what's going on with these markets these days. It's been going on for a long time like that. So we have a number coming out here in about 2 minutes. So be a little bit mindful of that if you have any positions on, if you're maybe long from the 10 area. We'll see. Just wanted you to know that it's there. We don't like to have positions on when the numbers are released. Again, welcome to some of the new folks that are here. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box area. The old adage that the market hates uncertainty couldn't be more true, and it's going toe to toe with the well-known forces investors love of dips. So we have the buy the dip scenario and the hate. The market doesn't like uncertainty, which I always seem to. The old adage, I guess that's telling you what I feel or how I trade. Old. Well, the economy is okay, but inflation is a problem, and that they have to maintain. So there's no doubt about that. Oh, Brad, good. Johnny, good to have your speakers up and running again. I was going to suggest you just take them, throw them against the wall, and then plug them back in. Probably will work just as fine. Can we expect with inflation? Thoughts? What do I expect with inflation? I think that the Fed is going to try to control it, and I think some of these prices in regards to the supply issues might be resolved. So it's probably going to be contained. I don't think it's going to run crazy, but it is a problem that they're finally starting to at least acknowledge. As this number is being released right now, again, the ladder ticket is very thinned out. There's not even 100 lots up and down the ladder ticket, and that's where you get a lot of volatility. The volume is very high up there. We're sticking to 3 to 4 points, I think, because of the tightness of the ranges. But at any moment in time, that could change. So keep that in mind. I don't give you any, I try to stay away from predictions because that's not what we do here. We just take what the market is giving us and trade off of that. We're not long-term traders, but it was just a opinion. So nothing that I would, it's not anything I would. And then you have COVID that's also in the background. So you don't know what that's going to do. Still, it's not going away anywhere. People would like to think it's going away, but it's not. So that's another factor, an unknown factor, really. We just He's just don't know how that's going to be maintained or not. So it's a unknown that it's is out there. You know, it is what it is. Powell's testimony to Congress suggested the Fed is pivoting from being worried about faster labor market recovery towards being more concerned about keeping a lid on prices. The risk of inflation, higher inflation, has increased, explained Powell, who was tapped for a second four-year term by President Biden last week. He appeared alongside Treasury Secretary Yellen, who urged lawmakers to address the nation's debt ceiling and said that a further failure to do so would derail economic recovery. All right, we're coming up here to the pivot area that we have. Don't know what it wants to do up here. Got up to 19 and change. Maybe some of you are long. Maybe it's where you want to get out. We do have a couple other numbers coming going to be released here at the top of the hour, and Powell begins his testimony before the House committee today. So again, this is the second 2-day part where he goes in front of Congress and speaks to senators the first day, and then House people the next. That's where he's at today. His opening statement would probably be the same. So we'll see what happens. The market is kind of slowly just kind of hanging here. And it bounced off of our 10 area there. So if you did happen to get along there, it should be okay. At least that's what we're trying to keep you on the long side. Definitely not being not being short down there. So we'll see what it wants to do. And then upside, a little resistance up here around their 20. We'll see what it wants to do. They get up to 19 and a half, so maybe that kind of secure that 20 resistance area. So especially the way it's breaking down here a little bit. Concerns about the Omicron variant has led the U.S. to tighten travel rules, requiring all air travelers entering the United States to show a negative COVID test performed within 1 day of departure. Currently, vaccinated international travelers can present a negative result obtained within 3 days. The 1 day testing requirement from the CDC would apply to U.S. citizens as well as foreign nationals. The off-color blue. No, I don't think it's an off-color blue. I think it's a solid blue. And the blue band got in the way for Don again. Every time you think he's going to learn, just takes a step back or two. So if you did jump in there around the 20 area that we suggested had some low resistance, you did okay. I got up to 19 and a half there. Again, it's an area. When we talk about a level or we talk about any, it's an area that you have to consider. We're not going to be perfect all the time. So consequently, you have to scale in around an area. Market kind of bouncing around. Bond market still staying pretty strong. The yield on the 10 is around 1.5. So right around 1.5 on the yield on the 10s. We do have a couple numbers and Powell talking here at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. So PMI manufacturing index and ISM manufacturing index. ISM manufacturing and construction spending are both going to be released at the top of the hour in about 9 minutes. and we'll see what happens from there. Again, you have our levels that we use for the day, and we keep those as a guide. And if anybody has missed them, they're in the chat box area. Today's December 1st, as the year just keeps chugging along. All right, it's kind of range bound here a little bit. Again, that kind of fits with the trade the last few hours of the day, but again, maybe they're just waiting for Powell to start talking and inject a whole bunch of craziness into the market. You never know. So again, if you make a little bit of money, I mean, highly suggested if you made a little bit of money this morning, we don't need to hang around with Powell chit-chatting away, because you just never know how he's going to say, what he's going to say, and how the market reacts to the verbiage. It's just the way it is with the Fed situations, that they seem to always, even on Fed days, they seem to always have a problem with that. All right. So number in about 5 minutes. Market a little bit of a range here. Definitely quieter than yesterday. All right. But again, maybe just waiting for Mr. Powell's statements at some point today. Well, he's going to be talking, like I said, at the top of the hour as well. Maybe they're just like waiting for. I mean, unless there's a crazy question that he hasn't answered yesterday, or puts this different words to the same question, market shouldn't really move. But I'm not going to say that anytime there's a Fed situation, then the market's not going to do something, because that always throws me for a loop. We'll just say, save money. That's all I'm trying to tell you. I've had many, many experiences with Fed days, and they're not good. No, they're not good. Let's just come to that conclusion. My Fed days are not good. Maybe your Fed days are better, but my Fed days suck. So I've just decided just to stay away from them. Try to share that commentary with you guys. so that you can save some money. But you don't, I mean, if you feel like you have to trade, you got to trade. What time frames are we using? Well, we have on our charts here on the screen, we have a 5-minute ES chart from right to left. And then in the middle, we have an hourly ES chart. And on the left, we have a bond chart, a 5-minute bond chart, 30-year bond chart, to maybe help us sometimes if there's some inverse trade or something like that going on. But whatever the situation is, we stick to the 5-minute to give us our opportunities, and then the hourly too when they coincide. When opportunities kind of coincide with both, then it's a better trade for us. At least we feel stronger about it, feel more confident in getting into trades. Most of the opportunities that we have are based on reasons to trade. So we are always looking for reasons to get into trades, reasons to find the opportunities to trade. We don't just get involved because the markets are going one way and we feel that we have to trade the market. So we're always looking for reasons to trade. The technical analysis is one aspect of it, and in addition to the price action opportunities that occur, the combination of both that gives us setups to trade. We like to average about, 4 to 5 trades during the course of a day. Average is the key word there. I think we can definitely say that we can average 4 to 5 trades. I mean, yesterday we definitely had a lot more, and today it's a lot less. But this is trading, so nothing here is etched in stone. We take one day at a time and try to make the best of it. Well, it's the bond chart is as we have a number. It's going to be released here in about a minute here. So just in case you are have a position on, just be mindful of the fact that there's a couple numbers going to be released here. It's a more selfish chart that I have up there, only because I traded in the bond market trading the bond pit, I should say, for many years, and we used to have good correlations or between bonds and S&P sometimes. Sometimes that correlation is there and sometimes it's not. So it's more the fact that we used to trade the bond market here a lot as well. But that's not happening anymore because the bond market ever since 2007, the government getting involved with all the tapering and all the buybacks and this and that, they basically control the bond market. So it's not as the market doesn't trade well technically anymore, so we don't trade it. But it's more as a selfish thing to have the bonds up there, just because I was trading on the floor and trading in the bond pit for a long time. But sometimes, like I said, we do have some usage for it. All right, the market is up here in the back up here to the pivot area, right as its numbers are released. If you see what it wants to do up here, and we'll see where the market goes after these numbers. And then remember, Powell is going to be talking as well, so might not get anything right away with him, but we'll see. All right, these numbers are out. Maybe a little bit bullish, maybe. What do you think? Huh? Again, next level of resistance we have is up at the 28 area. Well, I mean, yeah. All right. Pretty much getting back into the range that they were trading most of the morning here. very, very quiet trade. I think they're kind of just waiting for Powell to start his Q&A and then see where that takes us. But obviously, these numbers are a little bit bullish here. Quickly coming up here to the 28 area. Kind of ran through there a little bit. See what it wants to do. Might be coming up again, trading on the heels of a couple releases. So that's obviously having an effect on the market. And also Powell talking. So all of these things you have to remember that as a trader, and see how you want to trade these levels and understand your risk tolerances, how they relate to the market and how the market is relating to your risk tolerance, right? So you're giving a chance here to, again, scaling in, where you scaled in, how you get in, how you get out. It's giving you a chance here to scratch some of them here if you wanted to, if you don't like the price action. So again, these are giving you different opportunities to do different things, all right? It's kind of just hanging here. All right, now we're getting a nice little rotation here off of it. Again, you could lighten the load there a little bit if you had too many on. Okay, working this 28 area here. All right, done. You got that. And now we're getting a nice rotation here off of it. Got up to 30 and a half. So we talked about a three-point stop there, and did not get stopped, and it got us down to 25. So hopefully you were able to stay with it and cover some of your trade down there, or even if you scratch some, that's fine. If you want to try to stay short here with any extra contracts, you could do that. See if we can run it back down to the 20 area. That's where I would cover them. Right now, so we had this number here that created this push up here to our upper level of resistance. So that number created the push up here to 28. And then we had a nice little scalp off of that. And now we're just kind of hanging here. So again, you're probably scaling about a point above and below a level here. So if you did get in, maybe you got in sold at 29s as well, and then you got a nice little entry point there. And now we're just kind of drifted back down to 25 and 24 and change, and then now we're just kind of hanging around up here. So hopefully you're able to jump in, maybe get in, maybe scratch a little bit, and then look for them to rotate back down to the downside. Either way, hopefully you were able to take advantage of that opportunity. Well, basically, we have we're using support and resistance areas for us to find our setups. The support and resistance areas that I talk about are taught in our education course. We do have a website that can give you some more information about that. But basically, tell you that the education course shows you where to find these levels, why they would work, why they wouldn't work, when to change them, when to tweak them. The concept of the course is for you to become an independent trader, to be able to find these levels on your own, to make those adjustments according to your risk tolerances on your own, and understand why you're making adjustments and stuff like that. So the goal is for you to do this independent of anybody else, to find levels independently and to understand why they would work. That's what we do in our education course that we have, and I'm sure they'll put the website link up there at some point today. You'll see it. It is. They'll show it up. They'll put it up there. The link that for our stuff. If you need any, if you just if you need any other questions or a lot of questions answered, just put your contact information. Just send us your telephone number, and if you just put it to host and panelists, we're the only ones that see it, so we can contact you and talk about it. But the website's there, and we'll get that link up there in a minute. Oh, there it is. Thanks. There's a link. All right. Next level of resistance we have is up at the 34 area now. Nice rotation off of the 28. And we are looking up at the 34 as the next level of resistance. Now, remember, Powell's going to be talking. So, anything could happen. Word of warning. So, if you make a little bit of money this morning, good. There's always tomorrow. Yeah, market continues to uptick here. Next level resistance is up at the 34 area. Got up here to 375. So yeah, working 34 area now. Okay, getting a little bit of rotation here off of our 34 area. Again, how you scale in is dependent on each individual. And this is a perfect example of how we won't get to 34 exactly. Of course, we just missed it, but you're scaling in, and we got a nice rotation there off of our scale. If you scale in a half a point, even a point above and below, then you definitely got a nice rotation there against. Don't say that, Don. Don't say that. That's not good, Don. Do not say that to me. Not today. Not after yesterday. Do not say that to me. Not nice. All right, nice rotation there against our 34 area that we talked about. That was the level of resistance we had. Oh, that's good. Not here. And hopefully we're able to jump in against it. I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, we're not going to be perfect. We didn't get up to 34. He's talking. Well, he's talking now, but then he starts his Q&A session soon. So nice rotation there against our level. Bonds, though, kind of breaking a little bit here. Bonds have become a very one-way trade, unfortunately. And next level of resistance we have is up at the 43 area. Again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box area. So now next level of resistance is up at 43. And Powell is in the background talking, and we never know what he will or will not say. Can we repeat the levels if those of you just come in late? If you look at the chat box area, you will find the levels that we are using as a guide to the day. You can see here we used the 28, worked very nicely for us, and then again up here at the 34, that worked very nicely for us. We're trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market, basically scalp the market. We talked about 3 to 4 point stops with 3 to 4 point profit targets. We are getting those today with our first level. Well, with first support level worked very nicely on the downside there at 10, and then we rotated back up and traded the 28 and a 34 here, and we got nice rotations off of those levels as well. And now we're just kind of hanging here for a little bit. We like to average about 4 to 5 trades in the course of the day. I think we can, well, just on our levels alone today, we've gotten those. But that's what we like to average on any given day. And I can say we do that. Yesterday was a little bit crazier, and there were more opportunities, but today it's a little calmer, at least for so far this morning. Doesn't mean it ain't gonna pick up steam or whatever, but we've already had, just on our levels alone, any excluding any price action opportunities, 3 trades. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box area. I have that window up, I can see the question. And if you just put it to panelists, only Brad and I can see them, so you don't have to worry about anybody else seeing them. Or if we ask you for a telephone number, you can just put that in there. Next level of resistance is up at the 43 area. Support right now would be around the 21 to 22 area. Do I get to see the actual entry points? Do we get to see? Well, no. Well, I talk about them. I do tell you that we are scaling in around the level, right? I mean, my orders are already in place in the market. So if the level is 34, everybody trades a little bit differently here. So everybody takes different risk tolerances. If you are trading one lots and you're a bit more risk averse, maybe you're leaving it at the level. If you trade a little bit more than one lots, then you're scaling in. Maybe you do it a point above and below a level. Just make sure you get in. Some of our other traders like to trade at a half a point above and below a level. So it varies based on individual risk tolerances, and so we just like to keep it that way because my philosophy is everybody trades differently. You have to find a niche that works for you, and that's what we work on with the individuals in our education course to make sure that we maximize their profit potential based on their risk tolerances. So you could find the right way of scaling in and scaling out. So this is not a perfect game. Just because I do it one way doesn't mean that you have to do it the same way. And so you have to find a niche that works for you, and that's what we talk about here in regards to everybody. You know, so I don't show it because it's not. There's no reason for you to do what I do, and I can't. You know, I've traded around a lot of great traders, and I can honestly tell you that I can never do what they do. Or they did when I was standing around watching them trade, and I knew what they were doing. It doesn't matter. So to me, you have to find the niche that works for you, and then trade it accordingly to make you comfortable and the risk tolerances that you were talking about. So that's my philosophy about that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, see the trade. I mean, it doesn't. It's not. Doesn't. It's not going to accomplish anything. You have to do it for yourself. I do feel the pain when we're wrong. How's that? I'll tell you that. How's that? Yeah. Well, if you don't think I feel the pain when we're wrong, you're wrong, because I do feel the pain. We try not to be wrong. Let's not get carried away. Definitely try not to be wrong around here. But it happens because this is trading. All right, next level resistance is up at the 43 area. Support right now would be back down around 22 to 23. Remember that Powell's talking in the background, so you could at any moment interject and say, you know what, I don't like what I was saying before. Let's change my mind. I'm going to change my mind. If anybody has any questions, again, feel free to ask in the chat box area. Well, I use CTS Cunningham platform, but the charts are different. Obviously, charts are a Gina trader, so that's the difference. The CTS, it's a lot of traders use it on the floor. And it's pretty good. They've adapted a lot of things. I don't recommend one or the other. I don't. We don't usually recommend anything. Brokers, nothing. So stay away from that. But since you asked. All right, we seem to have flattened out here a little bit. See where it wants to go or not. That I don't know. But we've just come up here and just kind of hanging. Support, like I said, 22, 23. But again, you got to be careful. Like yesterday, you saw what happened. You know, they kind of ran through any support areas you had. Even strong support areas we had because he started saying or talking. So you got to be a little bit careful here going forward because he's going to be talking the rest of the afternoon or morning. You know, just the risk reward is not there. But some of you love it. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that you don't. Some of you guys love trading. There's this 700 lot here that somebody's chasing the market to try to fill. See that? Keeps like down ticking. One person is knocking this market down here about 1.5 points, trying to get filled this 100 lot here. It's Don. Don's trying to get filled here. He's knocked this market down. But so the agency finally somebody took him out. There you go. That was it right there. So somebody, what happened? That must have been Goldman, actually. That was Goldman. Especially because all of a sudden the market broke. It was definitely Goldman. No, I don't know. I'm just joking. Weird sense of humor sometimes, especially when it comes to Goldman. Not Don, though. I mean, I would believe it was Don. No doubt about it. All right, well, it's really not doing much. Kind of just hanging. It's got itself a little bit of got a little range here. Trying to see which way it wants to go next. Mark, it's too funny. Well, you got to respect the 20 area, Don. That's for sure first, and then we'll see about the 07. All right, we're a little range bound here. Again, if anybody has any questions. Yeah, they really pulled the plug. I mean, they're a little nervous about it from yesterday. You know, I don't think it's, you got to be a little bit careful here. Be patient. Well, I mean, we are going to test the 40. Well, you got 43. You have 40. You have 45 area. I got 43, so that's close. I would think that's going to test that first, and then make a jaunt up to the 200 maybe moving day average. Yeah, that would be a next target. I've got 54 first, and then the 61, 62 area would be the, depending on when we get to the 200-day moving average, right? Maybe tomorrow. But again, here we go again now with the break to the downside as it looks like he's saying something, creating some volatility. Uh, that the market doesn't like. Looks like yesterday they hung on the highs and it broke. But it's not breaking that hard, at least not initially. It kind of stopped all of a sudden. Yesterday, there was no stopping it. So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to continue or not, but be careful. It gets to a one-way trade. It's hard to trade. Obviously, if you are short and you want to ride it, that's great. But they have vicious rotations to the upside when it gets thin like this. So you have to be a little bit careful if you're going to be trading this stuff. And we talked about understanding the issue here with him talking during trading hours, and gets a little crazy and kind of stops in the middle of nowhere, rotates back in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of hard to give any good technical analysis when the markets are jittery and trading on low volume and moving very wildly. So take those things into consideration if you're going to trade right now, especially with Powell talking in the background. There's always going to be tomorrow. We've had some nice trades this morning with our levels, so we cannot complain. And we did the same yesterday. We were able to make a little bit of money in the morning, and then I warned you about him talking, and then all hell broke loose. And again, it's very tough to trade when, as a trader, we're scalping. Some other position traders, maybe a little bit easier for them. I don't know, but it is what it is. This is going back to back. All right. So there is what's going on, and you can see they kind of just stopped and are rotating back up today. Yesterday, they kind of continued to sell off. Maybe they're smarter today than they were yesterday. I don't know. Who knows? It's not even worth trying to guess. So. And it's just me. Like I said, I've traded a lot of Fed days and hated them, and probably, a small yacht I could have probably afforded with all the money I lost on F days. A little yacht, not a big one, a little one. Put out Lake Michigan, tooling around. I can't compete with the California ones. Anyway, but I'm just joking. But I just don't like F days. So, but if you like it, knock your socks off, trade it away, have fun. Not everybody trades different, like I keep saying. All right, they brought it right back to where they started that break. So very, very, ominous little trade there. Nothing much going on. All right. See what it wants to do. Again, be a little bit careful here with the backdrop of Powell. We had our nice opportunities there against our levels. If you just traded our levels alone, you did well. And now we'll see what happens. Okay, we have our levels on the upside. They're at the 43 and resistance there, and then you have our levels above that at 54 and then 61. It looks like if we get below the 05 area on the downside, well, I guess we got to get below 90 for us to lose all momentum to the upside. 45.90. If we get below that, definitely, if we stay below that, definitely don't want to be long. But that's a long way away, but you never know right now. You never know what he's going to say. Right now, looking like wants to uptick, but you know that could change at a moment's notice. But next resistance level we have is up at 43. Well, it's just chopping around right now. So this is what I like to call a no trade zone. Don't like to get involved when it's kind of not going anywhere fast. It's trading nervous, right? I mean, I think you could tell, right? I don't think it knows what it wants to do. After yesterday. All right. Get back here in a bit.
Hey, Kent, I think I saw you um, signing up for the bundle in the background. Just let me know if that was you. Hey, Christoph, any questions about Sol Services? Charles? Hey, Jack, how you making out? Jenny, the same. Hey, Julio, how are you? Larry? Hey, Osbeck? Rosemary? Hey, Vanessa? Yee? Yeah, I'm hanging in there. Appreciate you asking, Julio. And again, if anybody wants to upgrade to Sol's combo, we have access to him in the Trading Academy and able to join him based on this Trade Along live session. It's a great opportunity. And Kent, let me know if you got my message. You know, it's interesting. I guess the concept is that this is my opinion. If you're not making 500 to 1,000 a day trading, then what's the point? You know, so it's all relative. You know, it's interesting to me to hire somebody on the pro golfing circuit to teach you how to, actually, I should put it this way. If you just happen to be a pretty good golfer or a golfer that needs to get over the hump to where you're making money based on the pro golfing circuit, there are individuals out there that you hire to help you tighten up your game, add what you need. So I guess it's add what you need first, tighten up your game. And those people make a fortune to be able to do that, or to be able to hire somebody to do that. But the same thing with gambling. You know, they're gamblers, traders, and they're professional gamblers. And those are the people that I think you want to emulate and you want to be. And I think that's also an important distinction. You know, there's a lot that goes on here. You know, the ability to work with, talk to, be tweaked and adjusted by a 25 plus veteran trader of the trading pits in Chicago who is currently trading and laying it on the line. So when he gives you out his proprietary scalping levels right around the cash open, he's really giving you an advanced piece of information that you can judge. So if Sol's levels are good on a general daily basis, and there are days when the market is just not participating. But the point is that from a consistency point of view, if you can look to count on Sol's methodology when it comes to setting his levels, the discipline of being part of his morning session, this Trade Along live session, and then the ability to go into private class with him in a private Zoom room and be schooled in the art of trading and be schooled in the art of your trading when it comes to things that you're doing right, the things that you need to work on. So first it's the, where are you as an individual trader? You could be new or experienced. What is something to keep? What would you add? And then how would you be critiqued based on your trades, your entries, exits, and stops, and start to narrow it down to where you start getting pretty good at this? And that's the plan here. The plan is for you So we've divided into two separate opportunities. One is this trade along live session, which is for traders that have a plan and are looking for better levels, Sol's levels equal better trades, and have Sol as your wingman or guide for the morning session as he adjusts to the current market condition and helps you do the same from an educational point of view only. And then for those that need something, they're just not getting it done, or they need an injection of discipline. They need an injection of a tuned up technique, or they would like to incorporate Sol's technique, his price action trading strategy, how he sets his proprietary levels into your own trading. And that's the bundle where you pay for his course and you come in here as a proving ground and an access point to Sol as you're applying your newfound trading skills. I mean, that's a recipe that's not really, I don't know of anybody else that's doing it when it's coming to the concept of trading, figuring out that it's not working as well as you would like, and to be able to go in and get a tune-up from somebody that is doing the same thing. And I think that's really important for you to note, is that if Sol is trading, if Sol is laying out his scalping levels and zones, and you're doing it based on a, first off, your strategy and Sol's levels. Sol's levels are any good, that's great for you. His ability to work you through the morning session based on the action of price and his levels and zones, it's a home run. Now take that one step further, and let's say you come to the end of the morning session and you are unhappy with what you're doing. Then you go into private class with him and you work out your unhappiness and turn it into a positive trading opportunity. The key here is, how do you develop consistent profitability based on your trading? Sol's already trading. Sol's the guy you want to connect with, talk to, buy a drink for, so that you can pick his brain. You know, that's the opportunity that presents itself. I mean, Sol's history is really today based on his trading. I mean, you're slugging it out every day based on a new market condition, new market personality, potential based on the opportunity of price change coming into his levels and zones. Sol cut his teeth on the trading pits, trading floors in Chicago up against what I consider the best traders in the world. Now he's actively scalping the S&P 500 E-mini for his own trading account, and he is helping, working with, being part of individuals, traders' lives and their advancement based on their trading business. So, I mean, that's what we do every day. Your choice is decide whether you want to come on board or not. Do you want to be able to go in private class, into a private classroom with Sol, and ask him questions about what happened today based on his levels and zones? You look to make those levels and zones your own based on this opportunity. In other words, you learn to set them for yourself. That's the concept. And then what to do with the levels. Where do I enter a trade? Like, coming into a level based on price action, what do I do? Do I go short or long? Where do I enter? Where do I defend? And where do I exit the trade? And that's interesting to me because that should be part of your decision making going into the trade. What is your exit strategy? Sol generally has a 2-point stop, which is pretty tight, but it expands based on market action and activity for that particular day or this particular day or tomorrow's particular day, depending on the action of price. Sol does a critical assessment after the cash open based on how his levels are working, how the market's behaving, what kind of temperament does it have today. He sets a risk profile based on his risk profile, and you do the same. And then you adjust and tweak yourself based on that. And then when you come into a trading area, you should know what to do. It's looking for a general 2-point plus minimum profit. Well, where's your out on that trade? So where's your in? Your trade entry. What's your stop? Your protection. And what's your strategy to get out? Like, what are you looking for based on price movement of this particular trade? And now you've got a plan. And then you have a plan that either works or doesn't work. And then you have somebody to ask the question to. Hey, Sol, I did this and that. Sol says, hey, I was looking at that trade too, because that's one of the levels. Well, what did you do? How did you do? This is what I did. And Sol says, hey, you did that great, but you need a little tweaking here. Let's do that the next time. And then you come into this trade along live session out of the classroom. You apply it. And now you're one step closer to consistent profitability because you have changed and learned something and have been adjusted and tweaked based on your entries, exits, and stops in and around a fixed level. In this case, it's a fixed level and zone. And the zone part is because nothing is static. And you have to adapt to what's happening and take advantage of that adaptation based on your trading. So anyway, so that's what we do. Your opportunities decide to do it or not. You know, it's an investment, obviously, in yourself to enhance your trading business. You know, the opportunity to go into class time with Sol is a great decision. Bundling it with the Trade Along live session is another great decision. And that is the package deal. And it's just a matter of getting on with it because he's ready. You're ready. Every day is a trading day, you know, unless it's a holiday, right? You know, Monday through Friday. And it's an opportunity day to bank money. There are days where you should sit on your hands. There's other days where you should just do your thing. And the key here is in the S&P 500 E-mini, which is a great instrument to trade, in my humble opinion, but you have the ability to add contract size. So you can do the same good trade based on your tweaking and adjustment based on your relationship with Sol and have 2 contracts on or 3 contracts on or 4 contracts on. Once you're good at it, you're seasoned, you're disciplined, and you have confidence. And then you really only need to do 1 or 2 trades and you've done for the day. You've banked your money and you're happy as a clam. But it takes work, time, and effort. It takes commitment. It takes a sense of leadership when it comes to your own business and how you deal with yourself when it comes to you being the trading talent in your trading business and being schooled and ruled by the head of your company, which is you. So when you look in the mirror, would you hire or fire that person? A lot of cases you'd have to fire them because it's a delusion scenario. This gives you the opportunity to really focus, turn yourself around. And maybe you're at a point in your trading where you'd like to raise your contract size. And you need somebody that can help you and guide you and critique you based on that. Well, Sol is your person. So it is a non-cookie cutter approach to helping you go from where you are to where you'd like to be. And that's the opportunity that we do provide from an educational point of view only based on this service. So Yi, let me know what you're looking to do. Rosemary, Larry. Hey, Kent, I did reach out to you earlier. Just let me know if you're back. I think I saw you trying to process in the background for the bundle. So just let me know. Hey, Joel. Frank, Edward, Don. Hey, Don. Nice talking to you yesterday. I did look up those items, the Texas Joy. There's a lot of different ones of those seasonings, although it's pretty cool. Christoph, let me know what you want to do. Christopher, the same. Hey, Anupam, Anand. And again, let me know how we can help you on the road to a successful trading business. Yeah, Tex Joy. Like Texas Joy, I think that's what it is, right? But they have a lot of different spice categories. I was going to wait for the weather to change a little bit into the barbecue season. Even though you can barbecue, I guess, year round, but not here. Not where we are. But we do enjoy doing that. We like to live. It's nice to be able to have a trading business and be able to make it your living. And it's interesting that you've been able to do that, Don. And now Mark, I don't know where Mark is. I know he was in earlier. I saw him going back and forth with Saul, which is great. Well, Kent, he's, I did update him on our conversation, which was great. He believes that he can work with you and get you where you're looking to go. He's got a nice group in there now. I think you would fit in nicely. He is getting to the top of his range as far as individuals that he lets in. So I've circled your spot. And if you want, I can set you up and walk you through to make sure that you're all hooked up and part of the family. You just have to let me know. And once you're signed up, you'll be working directly with him. And you guys will move yourselves along in the right direction. And Don, I will do. And Kent, when you sign up, I'll set you up for full boat access. And if you want to get it done today, I'll be around for a little bit, so just let me know. Hey, Christoph, how you making out? Just let me know back in chat. Christopher, let me know what you're thinking. Yee, let me know if you're back. Yee. Jenny W. Jack M. Hey, Kent, no problem. I'll set you up with a full access. We'll set you up right with Saul. I don't want you to get locked out based on the number he takes. You know, he tries to keep it nice and tight, you know, which you'll be a part of. And then I'll set you up with a full access. And you get rolling. It'd be great, actually. Hey, Christoph, did you get a chance to review the website? Yeah, I've got that circled for Kent. Yeah, no, I think it'll be good. That's not a problem. I'll make sure he's set up with the full boat, and then I'll hook him up with you. Yeah, I'll let him know. All right. Yeah, Kent, Saul was just checking in on you. I told him to have you circled, which is great. He was just checking on his the individuals that are signed up and looking to sign up, and he's got a spot for you. Let's just see if we can get you done and in. And then he'll get you rolling. And I'll watch for you on the back end to make sure that you go through properly. TradeAlongLive.com, TradeAlongLive.com.